Welcome to Rapid Movie Recaps, the show where we give you the quickest and most sarcastic rundown of movies you never asked for. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, and turn notifications on, because who doesn't love constant reminders, right? Also, help support our channel by buying our merchandise you totally need. No, really, we promise it's life-changing. So here's the scene. Tyler, our pretentious foodie, is taking Margot, his painfully unimpressed date, to an obnoxiously exclusive restaurant on a private island. Yeah, that's realistic. They're waiting for the boat when a bunch of walking cliches show up. Lillian, the food critic who discovered the chef, Ted, her editor, George, the washed-up actor, Felicity, his assistant/girlfriend, and a trio of tech investors you just know are up to something sketchy. But wait, Margot spots Richard, a businessman she knows, and his wife Anne. Of course, she doesn't want them to see her. Cue the awkward avoidance. On the boat, they're served an absurdly fancy dish that only Tyler cares about. Finally, they arrive at the island where Margot's mistaken identity creates a cringe-worthy moment. Then they're taken on a tour of the island by Elsa, the maitre d' with a penchant for oversharing. Oh, and there's an off-limits house for the chef, because why not? As they enter the restaurant, there's an open kitchen for maximum foodie voyeurism and a random old lady named Linda who clearly doesn't fit in. Richard spots Margot and can't resist getting a better view. Elsa then reminds them that they can gawk at the chefs all they want, but no photos. Wouldn't want to shatter the illusion, right? Tyler, ever the culinary connoisseur, can't help but pester the cooks with his endless questions. Enter Chef Slowick, who for some reason takes an interest in Margot. The first dish is served, and the table is filled with an awkward mix of pretentious food appreciation, relationship drama, and general hilarity. When we left off, Margot wasn't too impressed by the dish, so naturally, Tyler had to condescendingly explain its significance because he's just so cultured. Cue Chef Slowick, who claps his hands and makes his cooks spin around like synchronized wind-up toys. He delivers a lecture on savoring the food, only to scold Tyler for interrupting. But don't worry, Tyler continues taking forbidden photos, the little rebel. For the second course, Slowick claps and enlightens everyone that bread is for peasants, and since his guests are oh so special, no bread for them. Instead, they receive a plate with a few drops of bread's savory accompaniments. Tyler, the culinary enthusiast, adores it, while Margot is justifiably insulted. Lillian points out a flaw, and in response, they send her a whole bowl of the questionable emulsion. The tech bros have had enough of this nonsense and demand bread, but Elsa creepily denies them, even when they name-drop Doug Varick, the actual island owner. Margot refuses to eat her dish, and Tyler, in an attempt to steal it, breaks a glass. Slowick swoops in, more concerned with Margot not eating than the shattered glass. Margot points out the lack of food, and Slowick defends his carefully designed portion sizes. She still refuses, so Slowick storms off offended to check on Linda. Margot glances at Richard, and Anne notices, saying Margot looks like their deceased daughter. Richard feigns ignorance and begs for a subject change. With another majestic clap, Slowick introduces the third course, memory. He shares a traumatic story about his childhood taco nights involving a drunken father, a foam cord, and a pair of scissors. Oh, and Linda's his mother. Surprise. The dish is a dark tribute to that night, smoked chicken thigh complete with scissors and a foam cord. The tortillas, freshly made and etched with a laser, bring even more awkwardness when they reveal deeply personal memories. Lillian finds images of the restaurants she destroyed with bad reviews, and Anne discovers photos of her husband's secret life. Richard swears that a picture of him with a mystery woman is just a prank. George is reminded of his flop, Dr. Sunshine, and the tech bros find evidence of their company's tax fraud. Elsa cryptically hints that she knows all their dirty secrets but refuses to spill the beans. Tyler believes Chef Slowick despises him, while Margot finds the whole affair insulting. After being called a child by Tyler, Margot storms off to the bathroom, where she spots an employee running with angel wings. Slowick confronts Margot about her attitude and true identity, but she insists she's just Margot from Nebraska, suspicious much. Meanwhile, the fourth course is prepared with dramatic flair. Slowick introduces Jeremy, a sous chef who dreams of fame and fortune like his boss. But Slowick warns him of the pressures of culinary fame and asks if Jeremy really wants that life. After a solemn no, Slowick kisses Jeremy on both cheeks, and then bang. Jeremy ends it all before the horrified guests. Talk about a dinner party gone wrong. As the body is carted away, Slowick insists it's all part of the show. The guests debate whether the death was real or not, and Richard finally snaps. He tries to leave with Anne, but Elsa won't let him go. Instead, she orders the chefs to take his ring finger. Ouch. As chaos ensues and Richard writhes in pain, Tyler continues enjoying his meal, completely unfazed. Elsa returns the fallen wedding ring to Anne, while the rest of the guests wonder what on earth they signed up for. Chef Slowik is adamant that everything is part of the menu, though the guests are becoming increasingly frightened. Margot gets dragged into the kitchen, where Slowik accuses her of not being a genuine Margot, thus ruining his menu plan. He also casually mentions that everyone's gonna die tonight. No biggie, right? The atmosphere in the restaurant is a pressure cooker of tension, with Soren trying to smash a window, only to be foiled by unbreakable glass. "Nice try, buddy," smirks Elsa as she escorts him back to his seat. Tea is served to cleanse the palate, and Slowik opens the floor to questions. Tyler asks something inane about the tea, but George steps up and demands answers. Slowik reveals that they're all mere ingredients in his grand degustation concept. As accusations fly, Elsa hands Margot a kitchen timer and informs her she has 10 minutes. Tensions continue to rise, with Doug, the restaurant's owner, found dangling outside in angel wings. Despite pleas to save him, Slowik has Doug lowered into the sea. "I'm finally free," he exclaims before retreating to his office. The timer goes off, and Margot is summoned to see Slowik. She admits she doesn't belong there, and Slowik reveals he knows she's in the industry. He presses her about her fascination with Richard, and she confesses she's a street worker who had an unsettling encounter with him. Slowik and Margot bond over their shared disillusionment with their jobs, thanks to the rotten clientele. They head outside, where Chef Catherine presents the next course, aptly named Man's Folly. She stabs Slowik in the leg, hugs him, and he apologizes. You know, just your average day at a fine dining establishment. The male guests are then given a chance to escape, with a 45-second head start before the staff hunts them down. Meanwhile, the ladies enjoy the sixth course, listening to Catherine's tearful confession that the everyone dies idea was hers. They all shower her with compliments to keep her happy. Margot, meanwhile, admits her real name is Erin and she's from Massachusetts. Outside, Tyler spies on the women through a window, while the staff expertly rounds up the male guests. Ted, who hid in a smokehouse, is awarded a passered egg for his valiant effort. Everyone returns to the restaurant, where various confessions and accusations fly. Slowik then forces Tyler to admit he knew about the deadly menu plan and had brought Margot along, uncaring about her fate. Margot is understandably furious, and the two are quickly separated by staff. Next, Slowik pushes Tyler to cook a dish while everyone watches. Tyler's cooking is a mess, especially with Slowik mocking him for being Mr. Knowledgeable Foodie. The final dish is a catastrophe, and Tyler runs off in tears after Slowik whispers something in his ear. Finally, Slowik enlists Margot's help in fetching a large barrel needed for dessert. Ignoring Elsa's protests, Slowik sends Margot on her way. Margot, on a mission to fetch a barrel, discovers Tyler's tragic fate. She then heads to the smokehouse, but instead of grabbing the barrel, she snatches a knife. She sneaks into Slowik's house, which is an eerie replica of the restaurant, complete with a bed. As Margot attempts to escape, Elsa appears, wielding her own knife and reminding Margot that this area is off-limits. What follows is a high-stakes, knife-wielding showdown between Elsa and Margot. In the heat of battle, Margot accidentally kills Elsa. After her initial panic, Margot takes Elsa's keys and discovers a room filled with Slowik's happier memories. Meanwhile, back at the restaurant, Bryce is presented with a birthday cake. Margot bursts in with the barrel, interrupting the celebration. Slowik confesses that he used to be a monster, but now he's all about purity. Just then, a boat approaches the island, and Slowik realizes Margot used the radio to call for help. The staff quickly cleans up all evidence of blood, and Slowik issues a chilling threat. If the guests ask for help, an innocent man will die. Coast Guard Dale enters, and the guest remains silent. He spots George and asks for an autograph, but George secretly writes "Help us" on the paper. Dale catches on and pulls out a gun, only to reveal it's actually a lighter shaped like a gun. Surprise! Dale isn't a Coast Guard, he's another member of Slowik's twisted staff. Slowik was very disappointed in Margot for betraying him. Margot decides to take a risk. With a clap to grab his attention, she announces that she's not a fan of his fancy food and wants a good old-fashioned cheeseburger instead. Surprisingly, Slowik smiles and whips up a classic cheeseburger and fries for just $9.95. The cooks watch in awe as Slowik prepares the burger with pure joy. Margot takes a bite and approves, but claims she can't finish it all. She asks for the rest to go, leaves a $10 bill, and exits the restaurant. As Margot leaves, the remaining guests face Slowik's final act of culinary craziness. It's time to pay up, a cool $1,250 per person, under a no-tip system. As a twisted bonus, they each receive a bag of goodies that includes one of Doug's fingers. For dessert, the staff decorates the floor like a plate and dresses the guests in chocolate hats and marshmallow vests. Slowick announces that the piece de resistance will be the most offensive assault on the human palate, the s'more. Grabbing a lump of coal from the oven, Slowick ignites the floor decorations, engulfing the restaurant and all its occupants in flames. Meanwhile, Margot enjoys her cheeseburger on the boat, watching the restaurant burn, and uses a copy of the menu to wipe her mouth. You can snatch this cinematic masterpiece at the link down in the description. You know you want to. Hey, while you're at it, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more of these totally amazing rapid movie recaps. Thanks for watching, folks.